Hi, my name's Michael Stuckey. Welcome to my speech. These are my friends here. We just finished dinner. I have Adam, Anissa,
Chanda.
and Chindan.
Hi, I'm from Canada.
So they'll be viewing my speech today.
Hi, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Chanda from Taiwan.
Oh.
All right. So my speech today is going to be about captive breeding and threatened and endangered animals. The purpose is to educate the public. I guess you're the public here about what threatened and endangered species are and what captive breeding is and what it can do to save animals. First, I'd like to start off with a quote to open the speech. It's by Paul Hawken. So he says, biological diversity is messy. It walks, it crawls, it swims, it swoops, and it buzzes. But extinction is silence, and it has no voice other than our own. So 3 points I want to cover today. One is threatened and endangered species. 2, captive breeding. And then 3, programs that exist to that include captive breeding. So what is endangered species? Endangered species is any animal, any species, any walk of life that is endangered to our planet through human activity that may become extinct in the future. Some examples today are black rhinos, Asian elephants, and mountain gorillas, most notably in Uganda. Threatened species. Threatened are a little less than endangered, so it means they run the risk of becoming endangered. So they're threatened to the planet today. Some of those include African elephants, polar bears, great white sharks, and giant tortoises. Number 2, what is captive breeding? Captive breeding is basically a controlled program. It can happen in any conservation center like a zoo, national park. It's where scientists or volunteers or any members come together and work on a scientific program. It's a step-by-step approach, and they raise animals in captivity through a breeding program with the goal of releasing them back into the wild, into the natural habitat. What are the purposes of captive breeding? 1, commercial. So commercial uses for medicinal purposes. The illegal production of animals, to sell for trophy purposes. 2, to produce for zoos for educational purposes and for the public to learn about wildlife. And 3 is to increase the population in areas where animal population is decreasing because of human activity or any other sources that may prevent the animal from reproducing themselves. One of the major problems in Africa today is that there's a lot of illegal poaching. So people may poach for animals, sell them for illegal purposes. Especially in Thailand, there's a unacceptable program going on there right now where animals are being sold for medicinal purposes, most notably the Asian tiger. So that's an example there. Conservation, whether it works or not, it's controversial. The WWF, the Wildlife Fund for Nature, their philosophy is that it's a last resort strategy, meaning it's a last resort to take an animal out of its natural habitat. Because there can be a lot of risk with that, especially for example, a lion cub, it learns from its parents to hunt naturally in the wild, um, you know, to attack its prey, to build a pride. This is something that can be interrupted in the behavior process when you take an animal out of the wild, if that makes sense. Existing programs today. I want to touch on a recent experience I had in Zimbabwe. I took a recent trip to Zimbabwe. Had the opportunity to visit a antelope park that had a lion rehab program. What this was well, I'll tell you a quick story. We took a safari vehicle to a restricted area where lions were held. We got the opportunity to learn about the program. It's a step-by-step program that consisted of 4 steps. They taught us about the program. They showed us how the lions were fed and how they were released back into the wild eventually. So that was a very eye-opening experience, which got me interested in this topic, overall. So that's one program. A second one I've researched is a captive wolf program in the United States. They help red wolves get back into the wild that are endangered at the moment. Third, the Arabian oryx, which was extinct until 1972 in the Middle East. Since then, a captive breeding program has brought back Arabian oryx, and I can be happy to say that here in the Gulf region, where we live now in Dubai, the UAE, Qatar, and other surrounding Gulf countries, they're back into the wild and they're doing good. So just to recap, captive breeding, it's a program used for many different purposes. The biggest and most beneficial is to reintroduce animals back into the population where they have decreased and gone extinct. And so our goal here as humans is, I think to help animals, because it is our own destruction. We've caused a lot of destruction to the animals' environment. This is the reason for extinction. So it's our duty to reinvent that. All right, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.